Hey friends, welcome back for another notebook challenge. So in lieu of a writing vlog today, we are going to just do our regular notebook challenge video for our NaNoWRIMO day today. Just as a quick writing update, I did write I think 290 words last night and maybe 100 something the night before. So since my writing retreat, I have added 300 to 400 words to my manuscript, but I also have been taking a break. And that is one of the things about writing when you binge write is sometimes you need a little bit more of a break afterward than if you were writing consistently. So everything has give and takes, but we're just going to move forward with the notebook challenge because it's been a couple of months since I was able to share with you my notebooks. So let's do it. So I have a little bit of a balancing act here as I've got myself surrounded by notebooks, which is just such a joyful place to be. This is the time of year where I know so many of us are starting to look at our systems when it comes to our planners, our notebooks, our digital systems, and start planning for the future and 2024 and what we want to keep using, what we want to stop using. Some of you maybe have the same system that you've been using for years and it works for you and you don't really have to do a lot of evaluating. But if you're like me and you switch things up and you get a lot of planner envy, or you really just take joy in using new systems, you might be kind of looking around at what you have and thinking, how do I want to switch things up for next year? So there will be some planner-ish discussion here as well, but I'm going to talk first about my story notebook, my plotting notebook, because I get the most questions about this. I do have an old video where I first set this up. I also have a NaNoWRIMO video from 2 years ago where I set up my first plotting notebook. So I will link all that stuff down below. I have set this one up instead of, I used to use an old Happy Planner, classic Happy Planner, and I've started using this instead. And I really, really like this, but there are also ways in which I think I would benefit from using Notion or digital tools instead of always this. And if you've been around a while, you know I did set up a writing journal in Notion that I've been using sporadically off and on. But part of the problem, so to speak, with my systems right now is because some things aren't really set, is I am doing things in two different places. So I'm not consistent with it. I don't have like one set system. And if I try to track my word count in here and in my Nano diaries and in my Nano Preptober workbook and in my Notion, it's just wasting time because I don't really need it in all three of those places. So part of my intention before the beginning of the year is to really sit down with all my stuff and decide, what am I actually going to use next year? What is actually serving me? What's wasting time? What's actually bringing me joy, even if it does waste time, because the joy is important too. And what am I just using because I think it's pretty, but I don't actually get anything out of it? And I feel like I do this reevaluation of my system every year. And I really tried to cut back quite a bit in this past year, but then I ended up adding things to my system as I went on because I needed them. So it's going to be an evaluation year either way. But this is my current plotting system, plotting notebook. And this is mostly used for all my brainstorming because I tend to do better brainstorming by hand and talking it out with people that I need notes for, that I don't want to be looking at a computer screen, or I might be in a Zoom call with someone and I don't want to be like also not being able to see their face. So like I like to take notes on my story as I'm thinking through it, as I'm talking through it in a physical notebook. Of course, I also have other tools that you've seen, like my plotting wall, Notion. I'd really like to start using Plotter coming up. So there's various things that need to be worked through about the system, but I have in here, for the most part, 2 notebooks. I did have 2 additional ones, but then I wasn't using them, so I took them out because it's bulky. But this is a B6 Chic Sparrow Mr. Darcy ink leather traveler's notebook. This is no longer available. This particular ink leather has been discontinued, but she does still have, I think, a Jane Austen collection that has some different leathers in it. but I was able to get this one on a buy sell trade or an eBay. I can't remember exactly, but you can look around. They still exist, but it's not easy to just go and get. But I will link the Chic Sparrow store if you're interested. But you could just look for any B6 Traveler's Notebook if you like this kind of style. And then I made some little covers to go on them. And then I also had some covers. So when I bought this, it came with some Foxy Fix covers that I was able to just put some pretty little papers in. And so that kind of decorated it up. Then I got this first notebook from Paper Penguin Co. It's just a traveler's notebook that has Tomoe River paper in it. And I have the pages, I always have these pages clipped off because there's some private information in here, but this is mostly from conversations with friends, courses, strategy ideas with friends, different things like that. And I'm about halfway through that notebook. Then this is the main notebook. And sometimes I take the whole shebang, and sometimes I will just take this notebook out and take it with me when I'm at a coffee shop or whatever. And I have a cover on it from Lauren Phelps Designs. This one is a sparkle cover, but she has lots of different ones. I will also link those down below, but you could look for any B6 cover. The notebook itself is a soft bound notebook. So it's, you know, it's wiggly, it's squishy. And this is a B6 Stalogy notebook. So it's a 365 editor's notebook, I believe is what they call it. The pages inside are just grid pages. They do have numbers here so that you have like the hours if you wanted to make it a planner. And then there is a very tiny perpetual calendar at the top of every page, but there's not a lot of writing on it. Otherwise, it's just very simple. The pages are not Tomoe River paper, but they're very similar in that they're kind of, they have that sort of rice paper, Bible paper sort of feel to them, but they're a little bit thicker. So if you do not like ghosting, for example, you might not like this particular style of planner because everything ghosts to the other side. You can see this. Oh, actually, let me be careful which page I turn to there. Everything kind of ghosts onto the other side, and you can feel the bumps of the upraised thing. This does take fountain paper very well, but it just kind of depends if you like the ghosting. If you don't like ghosting where you can see your writing on the other side, you will hate this notebook. But I love it because I love the feel of that on my hand. So I just love it. So I have been using this instead of a happy planner for the past year in keeping all of my notes about this particular story, The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, in here. And I've had a lot of people ask me, can you show us what exactly is in there? And what's difficult about that is this is just going to be full of spoilers. And I know I have a lot of crossover here between people that are reading my books and people that, you know, I don't want them to see necessarily what the final plot is. There's also things in here about the plot that have changed. So then you'd be like, oh, I got spoiled, but then that wasn't the real spoiler. But I did a video setting this up if you want to see that. So I will share that with you down below as well. But what I will also do is I will show you a setup of a Mirror of Shadows once I get to it. So right now I'm about this far into the notebook. And so it's definitely going to get my next book will be in here, as well as a story that I'm writing for Prolific Works. The main setup pages are like character pages, a sprint tracker, a plotting grid, a story vision board, which I never actually set up. And then I wanted to have an index here of all the pages that I set up, and then I didn't keep that up. But I have a whole page where it's like everybody in this story has a secret. So it's like a spread of what everyone's secrets are and who knows what, because that started to get kind of confusing. But I'll show you just kind of an example of, so these are the sprint trackers, but you can see as I was following this in a little bit in April, a little bit in May, a little bit in June, and then I have never kept up with tracking it in this particular notebook because I started tracking it in my daily planner. And the truth is I would rather have all of my sprints in one location, but I don't seem to always keep it in here. I don't always seem to put it in my daily planner. So what I really want to do is start tracking it in a spreadsheet where I can see averages and pivot tables and other things like that. So I'm going to be changing where I'm keeping my sprints. So, you know, it's always a work in progress trying to figure out how you want to use things and whether it works. So don't be afraid to try something, but then pay attention to whether you're using it. Then this, I can show you an example of this because there's not really that many spoilers, and good luck reading all of my handwriting, although some of you may try. So what I have here is a sort of a spread that I took inspiration from Helen Redfern. And so I will link her channel for you below because she has a lot of really good notebooks and ideas on her channel as well. But it's basically just a grid here, a 2-page spread to look at different columns. Mine is different from hers, but this is what I have. Plot, which chapter, what's happening in the scene, what's the conflict in the scene, what's the purpose of the scene, what's my estimated word count versus what was the actual word count of this scene. And so I have, for example, does this have a place in the plot, right? So if you looked at my How to Plot Your Novel worksheet, or you had story beats from Save the Cat, that's where you would write these story beats. So this chapter is where the argument against transformation happens. This is where the Act 1 climax happens, etc. Just so I can keep track of those things. And this helps me with my pacing. Then here I have which chapter. And so then when I added a chapter in, I kind of had to move these, and now it's actually 12 chapters in this first act. Then I have just these little page flags that are color coded according to my character's point of view. And then I just used a Sharpie to write a fine point Sharpie to write the basic, like in woods, last ever saw. Just means they're in the woods and it's the last time anyone ever saw Vanessa. So it's just got a very high level overview, but this allows me to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna move this scene here or this scene here or whatever. Then we've got conflict, where I'm saying, okay, what's in conflict to my character's goal in this scene? And then what's the real purpose of this scene? And mostly I want them to have multiple purposes if possible. So is this character growth? Is this revealing a clue? Is this showing something about the timeline? Is this, what's the purpose of this scene? Why is it here? And then also my estimated word count. So I have an estimated word count for the entire act over here. And then what it ended up, so this was my first draft, it ended up at 18,000 words, but now it's up to over 25,000 words for the first act. So it's a work in progress, right? I did put a page in between just because I didn't know if I wanted to redo this at some point, but I also wanted to make sure that nothing here was bleeding over so that I could get a clear view of what's happening on this section. But you can see here, I didn't fill out all of these things as as detailed as I ended up doing in this first act, but this was super helpful for me. And I do have this outlined later, just not in this one section. If I redo this notebook, which I will, like when I'm setting up my next story, I probably won't put a sprint grid in here, and I will put the plot grid. And then I also tried out some other things. I've drawn maps in here. I've left lots of notes for myself in here, lots of conversations, but I did try at one point, obviously all the way back in May, of putting in a calendar. I just glued this in and I thought, oh, this will be great. I will put in how many words I wrote per day. And that didn't work either. So not necessarily going to use that, but the rest of it, I think I don't know if I have other spreads that I can show you because of the spoilers, but I have things like, here's how each character reacts to this scene because it's multiple points of view. I have notes again on each character. I have places where I let Evie we were out at dinner, that kind of thing. I have plans in here. I tracked my writing for the Write-A-Palooza in here. So I basically use this for any kind of story notes, any kind of plot notes. I use it for tracking my thoughts, anything I need to just think through, like what is really going on with this? Or what's this subplot of this romance? How am I going to bring that in? And which scenes is this going to be important in? So I have a lot of that kind of stuff in here as well. And I thought that I would put more like tip-ins and things like that. So like things like this right here, but then I didn't end up doing that as well. So it's just a work in progress. I would like to use more tabs in this because I found myself wasting too much time turning between pages that I couldn't find appropriately. So you can see, kind of just use sticky notes sometimes, but I think I need better tabbing system for this. But overall, I really love this system and I think it will be super fun, 5-10 years down the road to have all of my, 5 or 10 plotting notebooks listed or lined up together and be like, oh, let me look back and how funny was that I had that thought, or that was supposed to be the killer or the murderer in this and it turned out to be somebody totally different, or just the different thoughts, the different struggles that I had. So this becomes part diary, part memory keeping and a very lot of story brainstorming. And so I will keep you updated on how I end up meshing some different systems, because I definitely want to start tracking more of my daily progress in Notion or in some kind of spreadsheet. So that's a long explanation of that particular notebook. Speaking of story notebooks, I'm going to actually turn this or move this entire stack here. So another notebook that I had set up previously was an actual story notebook, which was different from my plotting notebook. So my plotting notebook is my personal stories, right? But this story notebook was meant to be me watching, reading, consuming, gaming, and pulling what I liked from each story. So kind of like a reading journal, right? So a reading journal where you might do a spread of your favorite book and talk about what you liked about those characters and what was your rating of it and all those kinds of things, as a way to not only make it joyful, to also reflect on what I liked about something instead of just consuming it mindlessly, to actually go back and be like, why did I like this? Why did I like this character? What did that author do? Because I'm a learner at heart and I like pulling things apart and piecing them together. But also as a way to get intentional about my free time, not to plan it or to be over planned, but sometimes when we become, I don't want to say obsessed with our work, because that's not true, because I am very much a mother full-time as well. But sometimes I have such a busy plate and a full plate that I don't take as much time to just watch and enjoy. And so I thought making it something that sort of bridges the gap between my work and my pleasure and play might make it feel like giving myself more permission. And I know I'm going to take criticism for that, but I'm just being honest, right? Is sometimes I can become a little bit of a workaholic because I love my work so much and I get so passionate about it that I like to be busy and I like to work a lot. But I also, at this point, suffer is a strong word, from not spending as much free time on the things that I love, like gaming and reading especially, TV, all these different things, because I'm busy. I'll be answering emails, or I'll be sending things out, or I'll be thinking through my own story, which all those things are good in moderation, but I also need to refill my creative well. And this has been part of getting back to the joy of being a writer this year, is getting back to the joy of being a reader and the joy of being a TV watcher and just someone who chills out on a Friday night with my husband on the couch and watches something or plays through a game. So in order to make it not feel like something that feels guilty, and really our free time should never make us feel guilty, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't still feel like I'm wasting time if I spend an entire afternoon binge watching a TV show, right? It's good for my soul, but I'm also just in a place where sometimes that feels too indulgent and I don't give myself permission to do it. So criticize away if you must, but I know there's other people who feel this way. And so my thought was, I can set up this story journal. I can keep it with me, no pressure, but just if I want to watch a show, I can sit down afterward, like we're watching Wednesday. So I could do a whole spread of Wednesday, and I could be listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook or whatever and working on my journal as well. And I can do a whole spread on what I liked about the characters, what I felt like was funny, any quotes I remember, just different stuff like that. I had set something up like this, and I have that set up. I'll put it for you down below. And I was so excited for it. But then I ended up not using that notebook hardly at all, like maybe 5 or 6 pages in it. And maybe someday I'll come back to it. But part of the reason I didn't use it was because I have really fallen out of love of using really hard notebooks. I'm very much into a soft paper, soft notebook like this era in my life. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to set that notebook aside. I'm going to set up a new one. And so I am using this Hobonichi cover that I got last year that is so beautiful, and it has this gorgeous bow, and I just love it. So I have set up the interior of it one day while I was watching TV, and I love how it turned out. So I meant to record this, but then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to set it up for fun and you guys can see it after the fact. And then I am also going to put another clear cover over this one, the same way that I do kind of with all my planners like this. I put the clear cover with some paper on the back so you don't see the black. And so I'll be doing that as well. I already have the paper picked out, and then I'm going to be doing a setup video coming up soon of what I'm putting in this. And you can see I already have some pages. So this will be very similar to what you see people use as like a reading bullet journal. So it'll have like TBR pages, TBR series, some writing quotes, some craft books list, some gaming to be played, some animes to be watched, my id list from Jennifer Lynn Barnes stuff, any spooky stories I wanted to listen to, like just basically I'm going to set up some base pages, and then I'm going to use this. The notebook that I'm using here is going to be another Stalogy, but this is the A5 size because I felt like I needed a bigger spread. So I will put spreads in here for book reviews that I read, for TV series that I watch that I wanted to either track what I'm watching or etc. I'm also going to keep track of the craft books that I read, and there is going to be, by the way, a Heart Breathings craft book club coming in 2024. I've got lots of plans kind of on the back burner that I can't wait to tell you about. I'll tell you about some of them throughout November, but we have HB90 coming up in the month of December. So that course will open for enrollment here towards the end of November. And this will potentially be the last time I run the course at this price with this exact curriculum. So if you've wanted to take it, now is going to be the best time ever to take it. And then in January, we'll launch Publish and Thrive, and you'll get a chance to join my self-publishing class. So we've got lots of stuff coming up, but I'm also we're going to do a vision board party again this year, which we did a few years back. We'll do our writing year, but we're going to kind of beef that up a little bit. So there's live streams and all kinds of fun coming up, as well as a setup of this, this notebook. So full setup coming soon, something that I want to add to my system. But as many of us know, it's difficult to add things into your system that you really want to use unless you take some things away, unless you just have tons of free time, which I don't. So in order to add this as a regular thing to my system, I'm going to have to get rid of some other things that I'm currently using. And I just need to sit down and make some decisions about all of that. One such system level decision is stickers and sticker kits in Erin Condren. So every time I open up this beautiful Inspire Design Erin Condren, I fall in love all over again. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. I have been using this one. This is just an 18-month, and you can see some weeks I haven't used it as much as others, as a meal planner, and also for joy. So we talked about joy there for a little bit as well, because not all planners or notebooks have to have some kind of work purpose. It can just be for fun, right? So I have been keeping this for joy of using the sticker kits, but also as a way to put in my meal plan for myself, which not only helps me stay on track because I try to say, okay, it's in the planner, this is what I'm sticking to, but it also helps me to do my meal planning. So it also becomes time, strangely enough, that I end up spending time with my kids because I will do this planning upstairs where my kids are, and we will watch something together, or I'll be doing this while Evie's drawing in a notebook or something, and we'll talk through some stuff. I haven't used it every single week, but I have used it the majority of weeks. I don't tend to use these pages, but I do use it quite a bit, and I have enjoyed this. And I would like to keep using it, but I would love to have a planner like this that I also kept more of my fitness stuff in, because I have been on the treadmill more often. I'm trying to move my body and go on walks more often, and I would like to track that. I did play around with tracking that here at the bottom, but I'm actually wondering if it would be better to see if I could Frankenplan this, as I love to do, where I could maybe add some extra sheets in here or extra sheets in at the back of the month to keep track of fitness things. I'm just not 100% certain. I also wonder if instead of the vertical, I would do better with the academic planner. I'm not sure. These are all the system level things that I've been thinking about, but I will say I do adore sticker kits, and I do have a lot of them. And some of my favorites these days are from Nikki+3. And I just wanted to kind of share these because she is part of our Hearties community, by the way, Nikki is, and she makes the most beautiful stickers. So look at this set, is called Christmas Market, and it has this gold foiling, and her kits come with lots of things like these date dots and the boxes, the bottom washi tape, and the date covers. Like, they're just, the colors are so beautiful. And I love this use of pink in a Christmas kit. It just really makes me happy. Then she does also have these like journaling deco that you can use on your planner. Like, look at the detail of the little coffee cup and stuff, or the hot cocoa. So that is one kit. Then I also had bought some Halloween kits, but I'm behind on some of my planning. So these I've been using in my memory keeping kit more so than my meal planning kit. But this was kind of like a haunted house one. Cannot wait to use it. And some more deco pages there. And then this one is called Horror Wood because it's got all of your like favorite horror movies. They're so cute. And she has foiled kits and ones I think that don't have foil, but she also has like embellishments that you could use in your journal and some journal deco. Now I purchased these, but she also sent me some extra, like some of these deco sheets she sent me extra, which I was very grateful for. I love these little bookshops. How cute is that? I love it. And then some more journaling deco sheets. I did actually already use some of them, so they're not here. Some Halloween movies if you wanted to do like a check boxes of them. But anyway, I highly recommend it. And I just wanted to say thank you to Nikki for sending me some extra sheets. That was very unexpected, but I really appreciated it. Someone else who recently sent me some things in another video that I will have coming up is I have recently, and I know this isn't exactly notebook challengey, but I think you guys will enjoy it anyway. I've recently changed out my sticker binder system, and I hopefully will have a video of this process, but I'm not fully finished with it yet. So I bought some sticker books from Planner Kate and some from Boulder Bond, and these are more disc systems than the 3-ring binder that I was using before, and I'm so far really liking it. The big thing right now is just I need to go through and make tabs for this because right now I just have sticky notes saying which ones they are, but I'm using these discs, and what I like about this particular system is that, first of all, the stickers are pretty well secure in here, that they kept falling out of my other binder just because they're side loaded. But I will say when you turn the pages, sometimes the pages come out, but there's going to be downsides to every system. But what I like is I can go through and I can just pull the pages out and pull pages and then sit down with all of my stuff to do my planning for the week. And then I can just come and put them back in. So I have been enjoying that. And then Bonnie at Boulder Bond sent me some of hers as well. And she uses bigger discs, which I really like the big discs as well. I think you can choose. And she has things like these little zip pouches that you can put some of your stickers in. And she has, her system comes with some tab labels, so I need to get all of that set up. But what I've been using this system for is she has these sticker sheet, like the waxy paper, so that you can take some of your sticker sheets that only have a few or handful of stickers left on them, and you can transfer them over to these so that you don't have so many like partially used stickers. Because I feel like, you know, you may love this deco kit, but maybe you only used this top half and then you have all these bottom half stickers left over. And this gives you a place to go through and move all those stickers so you can see them better instead of having a bunch of sticker sheets that kind of look like trash, but you're not sure if they are. So thank you to Bonnie for sending me those. And if you guys want to see the full sticker setup, let me know, because I have been working on that kind of off and on for a while now. But I'm trying to decide what I'll be using for fitness, meal planning, that kind of thing. I also, in the notebook realm, I have been using traditionally for years, really, a monthly planner that is Frankenplan from Erin Condren as my sort of promo YouTube plans, you know, all those kinds of things. And this, I need to switch these out because they're Halloween covers. The big one I have been using pretty well for all of my brainstorming and things like that for heart breathings, and I keep track of all my YouTube stuff in here, and this system works great. I tried to downsize it last year, didn't work, so I will continue to use that. But I Frankenplanned my Sarra Cannon brand, and I put in here some pages that are from the horizontal canvas planner, and my intention was to use them like Let me see if I can actually find one that I used, because for the most part, I did not use them. So my intention was to use them kind of like this, like add a few stickers here and there, put my intentions for the day, maybe a checklist of things that I'm working on specific to this brand, my social media, any courses I'm taking, any Project Phoenix stuff that I'm doing to get my backlist ready for next year, audiobook stuff. I have religiously been using the monthly spread, and I've been using stickers from Sticker Guru for this, and they're so beautiful, and I just think they're gorgeous, and I love the monthly spread for this because it's a planning canvas. I have not been using religiously this horizontal spread, so I either need to decide that I'm going to use it and be more intentional about how I'm using it, or I need to just get rid of it. But I will be doing another version of this Frankenplan because this one only goes through December. Look how beautiful that is. This again, this is from Sticker Guru. But I will be doing another version of this, so I need to think how I'm going to set it up. And I'm just not sure. Just not sure. So I feel like I'm going through a lot of notebook planner thinking through for next year. This notebook I had mentioned before. This one is from Sterling Ink, and it is her traveler's notebook size, but it's 560 pages. I have been still using this pretty regularly as a morning journal, so this has been really fun. I plan to intend to keep using this. This little charm here is from Charming Planner Store, I believe, on Etsy. And I also just bought this monthly planner from Rifle Paper Co. This is going to be more of a scratch kind of forward planning planner. And then the final notebook that I wanted to talk about before we go is, well, I also have this Moxie Life one that I haven't opened. So I guess 2 notebooks. So dot grid, again, I'm loving the more like soft things, but this is a little bit too hard for my taste. It's like too hard of a cover. I don't know why I like the soft covers right now. I do. So we're going to set that aside for now. And I have kind of a choice. So this is from Webster's Pages. It is a composition size, which is the same size as this notebook from May Designs. I also have a B5 Stalogy in here because I just am obsessed with the Stalogy notebooks. As you can see, this sort of fake leather is not held up over the years super great, but it wasn't super expensive either. I think I got this on a deal for $10, so it is what it is. They don't currently have this color, but they do have some others, I believe, on their website. So I will link those down below because everybody's going to start having Black Friday deals coming up. But I have this one, and this was one that I had shown you guys before that I had used part of the beginning of it, and then I just taped all the pages together, and I have repurposed that notebook. So again, this cover is from Salty Katie Co. And it's a B5 Stalogy. And I have a bunch of notes here on Project Phoenix, which is basically just me going through all of updating my blurbs, my sales pages, my bio, all this stuff. And this has been a multi-month project that I have only been able to spend just like an hour or 2 here and there on. And so I'm like dedicated to getting a lot of this done before Publish and Thrive begins, because I'm going to be publishing again. So I want to make sure, like, it's been 2.5 years since I was publishing actively, but 2024 is going to be a publishing year. I'm publishing several books next year, and I want to get all of that sort of back end stuff on my backlist up to date. So any courses I've been taking, any thoughts that I have been going in this notebook. But another part of that publishing plan for next year is that I will be writing the final book in my Shadow Demon saga. It's already, I would say halfway done, but I think it's really like a solid 40K words, which is going to be about 1/3 of the book, maybe, if I'm lucky. And what I want to do, since it's been a while since I've focused on that book, is actually go back and reread. And this was a plan that I've had for a while, to go and do a complete reread of all of the books in the series and in the world, so that I can get re-immersed in it, so I can fill in any holes in my story Bible, those kind of things. And so I want to be taking notes. I do have this covered because it has a different title on there. But I want to be taking notes as I read through. I'm going to annotate inside the books, but I'm also going to be taking notes of anything that I feel like is something I want to make sure is a thread that gets closed in the final book, or if it's anything that I want to spin off into a new series, because I do have potential plans for another spin-off series off of this one. So there's just like a lot of notes there. And I've been trying to decide, do I want it to go into this Project Phoenix notebook, since this is all about my backlist? Do I want to just go ahead and add those pages into here? Or do I want to use this notebook, which is from May Designs, that I bought several years ago for this exact purpose? And I'm just not sure yet exactly which one is going to work. I'll be starting the reread actually as we're about to head out to North Carolina for Thanksgiving week. And I also wanted to let you know, for anybody who's interested in meeting up with me in North Carolina, probably the 21st or 22nd of this month, we're going to meet up, I think, in Cary at the Barnes & Noble, but I just want to confirm how many people are coming. So I'm going to put a poll in the community tab in the next couple of days. So if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area and you are interested in a Hardee's meetup the week of Thanksgiving, be sure to be checking in on that community tab, because I'm going to let you know how to tell me if you're coming, how to, help decide where we're going and all of that. But anyway, I'm going to be starting this reread coming up, and I'm just going to see which notebook I'm more feel drawn toward grabbing, because if this one, it can come out of here, but if this one is pretty, actually, no, this is easy to pull out. So I don't know. It's just so tall. That's the only thing. I might even just put the notes for this in my smaller Stalogy, because I don't think it's going to take up a whole notebook. So yeah, just lots of thoughts on what I'm going to do, because I have multiple notebooks that it could go in, but my intention was to keep this one just backlist focused for the marketing side of things, like the technical things. And so story-wise, I feel like I should use a different one, but I'm not sure if I want to go back and use this one I originally bought for that purpose, or if I would be more likely to use this smaller one. So anyway, I'm not entirely sure, but we're gonna be reevaluating lots of systems this year. And so let me know if you've also been kind of rethinking and reevaluating your systems. We also, of course, as always, have a giveaway today. So I've got another Archer and Olive, because even though I might not be into the hardcover notebooks lately, many of you are. So I will pass along some of the hardcover notebooks that I have that are actually quite nice and just the best quality you can find. So this is a craft paper dot grid notebook, 160 GSM, ultra thick paper. If you have wanted to try a bullet journal on craft paper, or a junk journal, or a painting journal, and you want to try this type of paper, it is dot grid craft paper all the way through, and hardcover. And this paper is super thick. And so you can paint on this. You'll see zero ghosting on this. If you are somebody who has really been wanting to try an Archer and Olive journal, all you have to do is comment down below and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Give this video a like, and you are entered to win. I will pick a winner. So this video is going up on Friday, so I will pick a winner next week on Wednesday, let's say. Also, I have a very special diverse read that I want to feature today, and that is by one of our very own Publish and Thrive students, Shanae Howard. So let me tell you a little bit about her book, Dear Plant Daddy. Okay, let me tell you about my friend Shanae Howard. She is brilliant, and I highly recommend you check out her website, because I met her actually through Amber McHugh's group, which many of you are well familiar with. And she is a brand genius. She's also a total nerd when it comes to certain things like Star Wars and other fandoms, and she's just incredibly brilliant woman. And so when she told me years ago that she wanted to write a novel, that she wanted to write a screenplay, that she had all these dreams, I said, how can I help you? Please let me know. And we have worked together, talked together a few times off and on. And then last year she got serious about actually writing her novel, but she also has podcasts and other things that you would just love. So you can read more about her. She's a strategist, a business architect for brands, and she has lots of great tips on her website for business. But now she also has her debut novel is up for pre-order and comes out in just 3 days. It is called Dear Plant Daddy, and it is You've Got Mail, but with plants. So here's the blurb. 29-year-old Tessa loves how predictable her life is as the co-owner and operator of Plant Therapy, a local plant store that has been a fixture in the community for 40 years. That all changes when a charismatic plant influencer with a massive Instagram following opens a massive plant superstore down the street. Everything about her safe life is upended as soon as he smiles, that damn dimple, in more ways than one. They fight over plant knowledge, bona fides, and customers in real life, but online their digital counterparts are falling in love via a rare plant subreddit. Sounds fun, right? Like, it's so unique. I've never, like, yes, okay, you've got mail, but like putting that with plants and this influencer industry versus the like small shop, like, yes, it was fun with books. Now let's see it with plants. So you can click this button and it will take you over to her pre-order over on Amazon, but this book will be available at Barnes & Noble and other booksellers as well. So I will put her links for you down below. I love it. So I know she's having some problems right now with Ingram Spark and paperbacks, as sometimes we do with indies, but the Kindle version will be available for you. You can go ahead and pre-order it now. It comes out November 13th. So I just want to say another true, like, I cannot wait to have this book on my shelf. Congratulations to Shanae, because I know this has been years in the making and you're just so brilliant. And I cannot wait to see how this book does, as well as more books in the Long Beach Love Stories series. So go check it out. Okay, everybody, that is it for our November Notebook Challenge. Don't forget to leave your comment down below, like this video, make sure you're subscribed. I give away a notebook every single month here on this channel, except on special occasions. I have been doing this for years, and we're going to continue the Notebook Challenge into 2024. And we'll be adding on a quarterly book club as well for next year. So look forward to more information on that. I'll be doing some planner setups and lots of fun stuff as we move into the month of December. So be looking for news on that. And otherwise, I will leave you with my final nano word count so far. And hopefully today, I will be writing a little bit more so that tomorrow I can give you a regular writing vlog update. So I will see you then. Let me know how your writing is going. Let me know if you've been reevaluating your own systems, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.